Guys, welcome back. It's Taria, and this is the Budget Chrysalis, where I track my journey as I transform my finances and earn my wings of financial freedom. So, today for you guys, I have my well awaited Friday videos. I am beyond excited to start a series called Build a Farm. I saw this on GB's channel. She is known as GB or Income Babes. She created this entire world of Build a Farm. It started, I think, as like a game on her phone, and she just made it into budget form. So I am beyond excited to get started. I have been trying to put my binders together. I started a long time ago, so they kind of look a little wonky. I'm going to update them as I go. But I did want to kind of lay the groundwork today. I feel like even though I don't really know what time farmers start, gathering crops, creating crops, laying out the seeds, all the things, this to me seems like the season to do that. I would go out there and do that. But granted, I am not a farmer, none of that, so just take that as a grain of salt. But today I'm going to start this series with $100. I have pretty much this in regular cash, and then I have $100 in prop cash because there's so many different components to this that I'd rather just have the real cash in one envelope and the rest of the cash in the other envelopes. So I'm gonna kind of go ahead and get started with you guys and get started kind of explaining everything. So this big green binder right here is all of the things that kind of make Build a Farm run. This is just the beginning layer. I feel like this is the foundation of that cake. So it has all the crops. It has some that we won't use today, like the Christmas trees. Those are for like seasonal things. And here's some of the little errors that I gotta fix up. It also talks about the animals, which I'm very OCD, so I might eventually go in and try to put like category labels on stuff. But you have, like I said, you have the crops, and then you have the things you collect from the animals, like chicken eggs. You have to feed the animals. You have to create, I guess, like products that you would use, like butter, goat's milk, cow's milk. You can feed the calf, feed the cow, feed the goat, all the things. And I even don't think, I don't have all the things in here that we need to have. But this is the, like I said, base. This is what I'm going to use to run my farm. So I have all of that in this binder here. And then in this one, I have what we like to call my homeland or my actual farm. So the country that our farms are located in is the Republic of Farmland. And here I have some accounts. I'm not really going to get into detail with them right now because I kind of have to look at videos to kind of help me remember how they go. But I have my bank account, which we'll use later, my rent and utilities, transportation, I was going to say transformation, the farm animals, growing crops, feeding animals, harvesting goods, and then other activities. So we have all of these things here. And then we have my actual farm. So there's a lot of role playing that comes into this game. Because it is a game, you can kind of create it to how you want it or tailor it to how you want it to be. My story, I'm going to tell you in a little bit, but this farm, y'all, it's amazing. I did get a template from Income Babes, but I did find a farm that fits the type of house that I would have and put that in there. So you'll kind of see that. You'll see what the rent is, all the things like that. But you also have the other components of the farm, like car, tractor. I don't have any of that yet, y'all. I'm starting from scratch. The chickens, the cow, the goat. These are things that I added, and I am going to have to go back and update because, like I said, these were months ago. But that's gonna be to buy the animals. So, and I hope you could see it. There's a lot of glare here, sorry. But, yes. So like I said, there's tons of components to this game. We're gonna go ahead and kind of get started because, like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot. So the role playing is gonna start now. Pretty much, I got this farm from a family member. Unfortunately, we had a family member who, getting a little older, they decided that they can't run this farm on their own anymore, so they were willing to give it to a family member, and nobody wanted the farm. Like, nobody in my family likes animals like I do. I swear I'm Elijah from the Wild Thornberries and talk to animals, and it proves to be true. I can go randomly in my parents' neighborhood, not be there for a long time, and pop up, be outside, and bam, here's a dog, here's a cat. So I believe I am the animal whisperer, and can talk to animals. So I was like, sure, why not just Trey, you take on this farm. Like I said, it was a beautiful house. I'd always wanted to live in a house like this. I always wanted to own farm animals, all the things. And unfortunately, kind of in my family, our generations, we're not really good at upkeeping things. We're not good at giving the direction book, the instructions manual to how to handle things. So here I am, kind of starting with the rinky-dink farm. Granted, it looks nice on paper. This is what it originally was supposed to look. Sorry, y'all. My phone started to go off. It's midday here for me, so I have alarms that if I was asleep, getting ready to prepare for work in a couple hours, they would go off to let me know, hey, it's time to get up, or hey, it's time to figure out what to do. So just dismiss that alarm. But back to saying this is what the house was supposed to look like when I was told I was getting this farm, and it don't look nothing like this. So yes, I am getting this farm from a family member. However, it's not up to par. And get this twist, they refinanced the house. Why? The house was paid for by, generations prior. Like I said, they went in debt. They had a hard time. They couldn't upkeep this farm. So here I am trying to buy back the farm, and I'm going to make renovations, pending later, to the farm. So this is my little layout. This is what I want this farm to look like. Granted, it don't look like that, and I can't tell you what it looks like right now. We'll figure that out later. But we're going to focus on first buying our house back, because it needs to be back in the family, right? So to buy back this house, it's going to be 500 farmolians or famolians. I'm really not sure what Build-A-Farm's money currency is called, but it translates to $500 in American bucks. It's a lot for me when I think about a game. And granted, if we were to really think about it in terms of American dollars, it'd probably be 500,000. So we just decreased it by like 3 zeros. And rent, granted, like I said, we probably would be looking at 2,500 as rent every month. But hey, we gon', like I said, translate it into dollar bills, y'all, into a little cheaper situation. So that's why things look a little bit different. I'm trying to make them as realistic as possible, though, because y'all, America, this economy, this whatever we got going on here, this inflation is atrocious. It's crazy, y'all. But it's happening, and we got a deal. So, bam. This is what the farm is gonna look like. I done talked to lots of people, the lender or the lender, the person the bank that I'm buying this house from. Can y'all tell I ain't really into par with all the lingo? But this is what it's going to cost to buy the house back. And then we're going to worry about refurbishments. Maybe I'll have to make some as I go. You never know. We'll stay tuned to that. So, we are going to get started with coming up with how much utilities are, though, because I think that's important. And there we go. By the way, like I did say, we do have the $100 here. what I'm gonna do is stick it. I ain't gonna stick it in the bank account because that's how much money I'm gonna make as I use this game. So I'm gonna stick the $100 right here because that's how much I'm like inputting into building this farm. So I'm sitting here with the banker. As you kind of see, there's nothing but glare here. I'm actually gonna keep it in the little thing here because that glare drives me insane. And I have yet to invest in matte, like protector overlays. So we're gonna focus on that. And I'm actually gonna zoom in a little bit for you guys, so you guys can kind of see how I'm gonna come up with this. So let me actually get. So I got my dice tower here. It's gonna help me out. I've got a couple of die here. I'm mostly gonna focus on this 8-sided die, teeny tiny. So I'm gonna call out the numbers for you guys because this is really the only teeny tiny 8-sided die I got. And I also have, like I said, the prop money. I've got a decent amount of ones, a decent amount of $2 bills, 5s, 10, and a 20. So we're sitting with the lender right now. He's talking to us. He's telling us, hey, this is how much it's going to cost for you to buy this house back. It's going to be $500. To rent the house, though, this isn't a rent to own. So when I rent, I'm literally renting for the month. And I'm still going to have to pay that $500 alone on its own. So that's how, unfortunately, how that goes. So water, y'all. Right now, water isn't that bad because we have nothing. But I have a feeling that we're going to use a lot of water to come up with. So water is going to be, let's see, this is why the dice is here. Because I would make water be like, wait a minute. Sorry, I got distracted. I think I have a 9-sided die here. It's a 10-sided die. That's crazy. Didn't know there was such a thing, but it's there. Okay, so let's see how much water is. Water is not going to be $0, but it's determined that it's going to be. So we're going to make water $10. Water's going to be $10 for the majority of the months, which I don't know. $25 I'm paying rent and then $10. That to me is a little high, but I can get it. $10 I can get. We're going to eventually see how that rolls because that's a high starting number. I can tell right now. 7. I ain't mad at 7. I would eventually work up to 10 if I had to feed the animals and all that, but like I said, I ain't got no animals. So $7 for water. We got Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not gonna be $6, y'all. I'm gonna kind of put it in the middle. You're gonna pay $3 for Wi-Fi. Heating. It's getting warm. I wouldn't think our heating bill would be high, so. Plus, we have gas, so I can see if I'm like, washing clothes or something. Our heating bill is gonna be $1. That's a little extensive. TV and cable. You guys, I don't own cable. That's not me. But I do own tons of subscriptions to different network services. So you gotta have your annual to Disney Plus. You gotta have your Netflix. You gotta have your Hulu, Paramount, HBO. We getting a little. The list is getting longer. I might as well have bought cable, right? So $6. Actually, that's 9. 7. That's how much water costs. Here, we're gonna use a different dice. I still ain't. Why is this die? These dice aren't giving me reasonable numbers. I'm gonna go with this dice when it was actually being smart. And I don't even think it actually gave me a good number. 5. Because that's a lot. I can see my water being the same as my cable bill now. Yeah. And in the house I do live in now. Because like I said, we're paying for a lot of subscriptions, y'all. phone. Y'all know we have to communicate with other farmers, get some ideas, getting some understanding as to how farms are supposed to work. I'm going to be using my phone a lot. I might even have to use it internationally, unfortunately, because I don't really know where the Dominican or the Republic of Farmland is located, and it's far away from the city. It's a lot. And then you guys know we're gonna be realistic here. You gotta have the latest and the greatest. That's how my family is. That's why we in debt. That's why we have problems here on this farm. I don't have the latest. I don't have the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It looks funky, in my opinion, but I do have the 16, and I'm still paying on it in real life. So let's see how much this phone bill is. It's looking like $3, which I'm not mad. I ain't upgraded. Ooh, that 3 looks funky. It's the price of Wi-Fi, which is true. Wi-Fi is probably a little cheaper here where I'm at. We got electricity. We're going to be spending a lot to run this farm because y'all, I'm working day and night trying to make it happen because I'm shocked at what happened with my family letting this farm go bad. But hey, that's how things go. So we got electric. Most of the stuff that isn't heating or gas related is electric. So and y'all, it's getting cool. Well, we want the house cool. It's not getting cool outside. It's getting hot outside, so the house has to be cooler. We have to use electricity for the AC, HVAC system. So yeah, $4. And then we got our rent. We got our trash removal. Hey, I ain't mad. Most of the time, in real life, water, I think, is connected with trash. So, I'm shocked that they're willing to take all my trash for $1, but I ain't mad. So, when we look at how much our bills are going to be on this farm, let's see. We have 10, 15, 20, 24. $24 in total. Y'all, that's almost how much rent is. We don't have any other bills right now, by the way. Those will come as we try to buy animals, all those things, vet bills. Yeah, that's a lot. But I'm still shocked that all of my expenses almost total to my rent. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all of these there, and we'll kind of get started with the rest of it. Alright, so we're back zoomed out. Like I said, I got all the money linked to the side here. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the game. So, there's a bunch of cards, and I just kind of split them all, that come with this game. And like I said, you have tons of things. I don't think these are all of them. I'm going to have to kind of go in and see together, like, later on what's everything. So we're just gonna go off what I have because we can play a little bit with what I have. So it's the second week of the month, and I decided I'm just gonna go ahead and pay my rent just because I don't want to kind of have that hanging on my shoulders. I'm gonna start real good with the lender and tell them, hey, I'm gonna pay my rent. So I have the $25 here. I'm also going to put down $30 on the house because, like I said, I want this house paid for. I don't want to be talking to this lender for a long time. I don't want him adding interest. Somehow we talked him into the deal getting interest free for a year. So fingers crossed, in 12 months we can get this house paid for. So rent and combined with putting down something for the mortgage, I've got $55. So we're going to add that here. I really don't want to pay anything right now. Nothing's really due on the second week of the month, but we're going to worry about that next week because I think that was enough for this week at least. So we don't really need a tractor yet. I know that we've got tons of acres of land, but I'm going to need maybe a lawnmower or something, right? I'm gonna have to look into the logistics of all this, but I'm not gonna get no tractor just yet. I'm gonna hold off on the tractor because I know they ain't cheap. And And I don't know what type of animals I'm going to need. The idea with the animals is this. I have got this individual that I talked to, and he's willing to kind of let me rent to own his animals because he's got so many that he's kind of overflowed and really needs to get some off his land. So as I pick, these little cards, I will start looking into having to invest in some of these animals. Alright, so I have my two binders here. We're going to start with the first card, and it says feed the horse. Alright, so like I said, we don't have a horse. So we're going to, one, have to look into getting the horse, and then two, let's just see how much, like what components it to feed the horse. What components it takes to feed the horse, y'all. Alright, you guys, so I can't figure out how to feed the horses at the moment. It's going to take me a minute. So I decided I'm just going to go ahead and skip that one for now. I might have to incorporate it later on just because I hate skipping things and not knowing how to do it. But I think it had something to do with the apples. Here I am, like I said, trying to figure out how to play this game and needing to update these binders. So the first thing we're actually going to do is grow the oranges. So here comes my little dice here. I am going to see how many oranges we're going to grow. I'm going to use the 1, 2, 3 dice that has the d6, but it has 1, 2, 3 repeated. That was loud. So we're going to just do 2 oranges. So here I'm going to go to oranges, and we grew 2 oranges. And I'm just going to mark off 2 here, saying that I have these in my stash. We got an orange tree. Hallelujah. And this is, like I said, where those little, what do you call them? Envelopes come in, because I'm going to put this in the grow crops portion. Just so you know where it's going to go. Alright, the next task is harvest goat's milk. So, like I said, I don't have a goat. So, wow. Well, the first animal we probably are going to get to buy is a goat. Because I know as I was hunting for the thing. So we have the goat's milk. We have what you feed the goat. And we have to buy the goat. This is where the complexity comes into this game. So I went to Mr. I don't know what his name is. We're going to have to figure out what his name is. And I told him I have to initially start with the goat. I need to buy a goat. He told me that these animals were going to be pricey. They're going to be $32 a piece. And to me, that's like having 320 bucks, which that's cheap for a goat, I know for sure. But this goat's going to be $32 a piece. And I don't know entirely how to divide that up. Here I am trying to think money-wise, and yeah. Either way, we got $32 we got to pay for this goat. So, what I'm going to pay today, because I need to put some money on the goat because I'm fixing to take the goat from him, is I'm going to put a $5 bill down. So, however, we add this up. I've already paid $5 for this goat. So, to the animals goes $5. We bought, or we're written to own this goat. And I'm just going to stick it right here so I know what's going on for the moment. So we brought a little goat. We don't have him a name. We're going to call him Mr. Goat for right now. I might call him what the goat is on Wicked. I'm not really sure. I don't quite remember what the goat from Wicked's name is. So, but we're going to use that name. So now that we've got our goat home, we've got a little place for it to sleep. We did all of that from him. We learned all that. We've got to get some carrots. And we got to get a carrot plant and get it growing so we can feed him and get some milk from him. So, if I was smart, I would have looked at how much we need to get the goat's milk. So, to feed the goat, we need 2 carrots. So, and 2 carrots equals 1 goat milk. So, I didn't see how much goat milk we needed to harvest from good old Mr. Cow. I'm screaming. Good old Mr. Goat. So let's... Whoa! We gotta harvest 3 goat's milk. Okay, we got this, Tria. Do not panic. Do not panic. So we gotta end up with 3 goat's milk, y'all. So let's start with the carrots because 2 carrots equals 1 goat milk. So 3, we're gonna have to do 6. So let's go ahead and put our little $6 here to feed the goat, all the carrots. And we grew all these carrots. And the sad thing is, we're gonna use them all to feed the goat. So it's gonna be a colored marker that I created it, or I grew it, and then harvested and utilizing it is gonna be black. So we got all our carrots. We fed our goat. We fed him some good old fresh carrots. I didn't even get to eat the carrots, so the little goat's gonna get them. So we got, like I said, 6 carrots. So we need 1 goat milk to feed the goat. So we're only gonna get to feed the goat 3 times. And that's gonna cost $3 because every time we do something, we're gonna have to pay to do it. So that's $3 there. And then that was feeding the goat. Now we get to harvest the 3 milks. And like I said, feed the carrots to the goat. So we done fed them. We're harvesting that milk. So now the end is the goat's milk, which we have spent another $3. Bazinga. There we go. So, goat's milk, fed the calf. I'm saying what I see. Fed the goat, and we got that task done. And if you stop and you realize it, let's stop and see how much it costs just to feed that goat and harvest the goat milk. So 5, 2, 7, 9, 11, 12. Alright, and I'm just going to stick that right there. So hopefully we won't have to do that again. That's sad, right? The next thing is we want to grow some strawberries. So what I'm going to do is use this 6-sided die now to see how many strawberries we're going to grow. We're going to grow 3. Not bad. Not bad. Wow. So we grew 3 strawberries. The next task we're going to do is grow onions. And let's see how many onions we're going to grow. 6 onions. Okie dokie. Well, alright, so we've got a good selection of traits on our farm. We've got some carrots we've grown, some oranges, some strawberries. We're gonna make sure the goat don't eat much of that, but We're gonna get it. We're gonna grow some coconuts next. That's gonna be 4 coconuts we grow. We're actually doing pretty good. I'm impressed. You've done some good work on the farm. The next one is grow cacao beans, which I know I ain't saying that right. If I am, woo, go Taria. But we know that cacao beans creates chocolate, right? So we're gonna be able to make some chocolate soon. 1. I don't want to do 1. I'm gonna do a bigger number. 5. I like 5. I'm okay with 5. Alright. So we have some cacao beans, which is pretty good. This is kind of how I wanted to start my farm off anyway. Just making different, working my behind off, getting all these crops in their certain areas. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got $10 left, so let's see what else we're gonna do. So the next one we have here is the spice garden, and the spice garden isn't in my garden. It is in a garden elsewhere in their neighborhood. It's like a community garden. So in order for me to get spices from there, I've got to, put some money into our garden. That's one thing you get from the farm community, is just nice, warm, loving, and caring people. We all come together to make something for all of us to enjoy. So I think I might need, I want to go with vanilla because we have those cacao beans, and maybe if we have something, we can make a cake or something with it later. So I'm going to see how much vanilla I need, which I really don't think I'll need a lot of vanilla. So I'm going to use this die. 3. I'm okay with it. Most of the spices here don't cost a lot, but if you're buying in bulk, then that adds a little bit. And like I said, we're adding more into the community, so I've got 3 vanilla right now. Which, y'all, doing all this walking, granted I'm getting lots of steps, but I see the importance now of buying a tractor or a golf cart or something. We're gonna have to invest in that real soon. Grow potatoes. So now we're going back to my farm, and we're fixing to grow some potatoes. Let's see how many potatoes we're gonna grow. 3. Alright, 1, 2, and 3. Alrighty, the next task we're gonna do, grow any 3 crops. That is a great way to end, because if you guys didn't know, I got a good old $4 bill, $4, and we have to grow any 3 crops. So as I was looking through all these cards, I don't really see some of the cards that I need to like pre-print and all that. Apples is one of them. So I am going to invest in these apples because y'all kind of broke me that I couldn't buy my horse. I was so excited about that. And realized I didn't have it to buy the horse. I was like, no, because horses are one of my favorite animals out there. I don't have a specific breed of horse that I would love to get if I was able to get a horse. But horses and cows are like the two things that if I was to ever own a real farm in real life, those are the two things I'd have to have on it. Um, and I would like goats and sheep and all of those things, but horses and cows are my love language. So we got apples, and we're gonna need some bananas. So I want to actually do some bananas. I'm gonna do one for right now, just because I have to grow 3 different crops instead of 2. Otherwise, I would have gone ahead and just grown 2 bananas. And trying to think, what else is a very good thing? Corn. We're gonna need some corn. You guys don't know me, but I love corn. That's one of my favorites. And I ate some corn yesterday. So I'm gonna grow 1 corn for today. And we're gonna put this in there. Alright, super exciting to start off this game. This is going to be probably a lengthy video. I'm going to have to deal with it because I don't really like long videos. They kind of irk me. I can only watch maybe a little bit at a time and, you know, just get through it over the week. But we made it. We have started off our farm. I'm going to have to come up with a name for it. Something to do with butterflies, right? The butterfly farm, you know. Don't know the Chrysalis farm. I think the Chrysalis farm is actually what I think I'm going to call it now that I'm thinking about it. But yes, we have done 9 tasks today, and I'm pretty confident. Like, I'm happy that we're getting this farm started. I'm happy that I have something to show my family. Like, hey, we did some amazing things on the farm this week. So hopefully next week will go a little bit smoother. I'll get some things updated, be able to kind of go through things more smoothly. But thank you guys so much for watching. And if you love this video, if you loved like just building a farm, the whole series type thing, just like the video and give it a thumbs up down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.